Here is the latest news you need to know about Giannis Antetokounmpo and a potential trade to the New York Knicks. Yesterday, we found out from Shams of ESPN, Brian Wittenhurst, all the insiders over there at ESPN, that Giannis Antetokounmpo is potentially going to get traded. Now, a lot of things happen. Giannis is now injured and expected to be sidelined for 2 to 4 weeks with a calf strain. We also found out that there was a specific player involved in the Bucks' offer to the New York Knicks back in August. And basically, we're going to break down everything about, are the Knicks even going to be pursuing Giannis? There's so much we got to get into in this video. We were live for over an hour yesterday when the news first broke here on Knicks Media. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And don't forget to comment down below your thoughts. Would you want the New York Knicks to go out there and trade for the superstar, the NBA champion, and the two-time MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, our New York Knicks got a big time win last night against the Charlotte Hornets, and I say only big time because of that disappointing loss they had against the Boston Celtics. Shout out to them for being able to bounce back on a back-to-back and getting the W at home. Let's get into everything in this video. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's get straight into it. So let's get into the report first and foremost, an article from Clutch Points. I am really excited to give you guys this one because this really reveals a lot. So I'm going to leave the link down below in the description if you guys want to go check it out. Shout out to my boy Chris for, of course, giving us the scoop. According to this article, sources, Knicks' offseason Giannis trade talks involved Bucks offer with Kyle Kuzma wrinkle. So according to this article, Kyle Kuzma was indeed involved in the trade proposal. Now, there's a lot to unpack here because basically what this is telling me is that the Milwaukee Bucks called the Knicks and offered Giannis in August, and the Knicks were like, no. I mean, that's a little interesting. So basically, there was a week or two period of the Knicks and the Bucks basically talking about a trade package. And let's start with this. There's no way that the Bucks are even calling the New York Knicks without Giannis telling him that I want to go there. And that's known. It's not like the Bucks were actively shopping him. If it was up to the Milwaukee Bucks, they're not trading him. They want to keep him. They want their superstar to be the face of their franchise until he retires, I'm sure. But Giannis apparently went up to the Bucks and said, I want to get traded. And if there's anybody I want to get traded to, it is the New York Knicks. And that's when the Bucks called the Knicks and said, hey, this is what we're willing to offer. We'll give you Giannis and Kyle Kuzma, and we want X, Y, and Z. We don't really know exactly what the Bucks are asking from the Knicks in return, but apparently the Knicks were not really willing to trade whatever offer they were asking for. And I'm really curious to find out what they were asking for. Was it the moon and stars? Was it like the entire future of the Knicks draft picks, even though majority of our picks are already gone to Brooklyn? But I feel like there's still, of course, a lot of picks that Knicks can trade away. They can do late-round pick swaps. They also do have a ton of second-round picks they can evolve. So I'm sure it included literally a treasure chest of draft picks, including Karl-Anthony Towns and probably one of OG Anunoby or Bridges and maybe Deuce McBride. And I don't know. I mean, Kyle Kuzma being involved in it definitely tells me that they were asking for a lot. You guys let me know in the comments, would you welcome Kyle Kuzma in a Giannis trade? I mean, listen, I'll do whatever it takes to get Giannis. That's really where I'm at. Obviously, I don't want to give up the entire roster plus draft picks. It has to be a reasonable trade, but I'm basically all in on Giannis because this is the guy that will level up the Knicks to championship heights that I would be absolutely down for. So according to this report on Clutch Points, Kyle Kuzma was initially in the offer for this trade. I find that very interesting. You guys let me know where you stand, but let's get into exactly what it says in the article. It says, little is known about what specifically unfolded in the Knicks' exclusive window aside from the obvious lack of a deal. Sources familiar with the situation tell Clutch Points that trade talks between the teams included Milwaukee submitting a trade proposal to New York that involved both Antetokounmpo and forward Kyle Kuzma. The Knicks' level of interest in that particular deal is unknown. The Bucks discussing a trade involving both their superstar and Kuzma can, however, narrow down the options for what the rest of that proposed trade may have looked like. At the time, New York was unable to take back more salary than they were sending out because they were over the first apron of the salary cap that limits what the return for both forwards could have been, removing one intriguing trio of players from the realm of possibility. With Antetokounmpo and Kuzma both heading to the Knicks in the offseason proposal, the team would have been able to send all three of OG, Hart, and Mitchell Robinson in return. Several other combination of players would have worked at the time, though, despite the two Bucks alone combining for over $76.5 million of cap hit salary this season. So there's a lot of complicating things regarding a mega trade like this because of the first apron and the CBA that came in with this new NBA. There's a lot that goes into it financially. The Knicks have to match the salary, which I think if a trade does happen, there's going to have to be a third team involved potentially to make the whole thing work. You're seeing all these potential trade packages now with the Giannis news come out yesterday across the internet, and it's massive. I mean, it's really hard to predict exactly what a trade would look like, but it is fun to predict, of course. But you guys let me know in the comments your thought about this, because I think that at this stage, you see what the Knicks are doing right now. Karl-Anthony Towns dominated last night against the Charlotte Hornets. It is the Charlotte Hornets. I happen to be a Karl-Anthony Towns fan, but there was a rumor that came last night out, and I don't really know if this is true or not, but apparently someone said that Cat wants to be a part of a squad that is his own team. But then you hear Karl-Anthony Towns talk to the media when he was asked, oh, well, the Knicks did not extend you and it's past the deadline. He said he doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to be a Knick. He loves being close to home. So it's really hard to evaluate all these reports and all these rumors because, honestly, we don't know what's true or not. But in my opinion, based off these last few years with Leon Rose as the president, where there's smoke, there's fire, because we heard a lot of rumblings about Karl-Anthony Towns, and then he became a Knick. We heard a lot of rumblings about OG Anunoby, and then he became a Knick. We heard a lot of rumblings about Mikal Bridges. He became a Knick, and now we're hearing about Giannis. So I'm in the wavelength in my mind thinking that it's only a matter of time until it happens, but this one is the most complicated move the Knicks can figure out to make because they did trade all of their assets in terms of draft picks for Mikal Bridges, and they have to match the salary. They have to wait for the December 15th deadline because it's not a deadline. It's kind of technically the new year of this season where all the players that signed contract extensions are eligible to be traded. So if there was a date to watch for things to start getting movement, it is that December 15th date because that's when I think everybody's going to start making some calls. And we also got a report from ESPN today that there's a lot of teams that are having internal meetings about potentially calling up the Bucks about a trade. And I don't think the Knicks are going to be the only team on Giannis's list. I think he's going to expand it if it does open up to a little bit more of a, serious thing where Giannis is saying, I want out. Even though you look at Doc Rivers, he got asked a question. He's like, Giannis never asked for a trade. But at the same time, I mean, I find that hard to believe. That's just Doc Rivers trying to, muzzle the situation as he's trying to coach this basketball team as he should. But Giannis goes down with a non-contact injury, and the question is his calf okay? He had a similar injury recently to the calf. That scares me, I'll be honest. I mean, the last thing I want is the Knicks to trade for Giannis, and he comes here and ruptures his Achilles. If you guys know anything about calf injuries, that really lingers and could make your Achilles vulnerable. You saw that with Tyrese Halliburton in the NBA Finals. He rushed back. He played in Game 7, snapped his Achilles in the first quarter, and now he's out for the entire season. The last thing I want is Giannis to be rushed back. So he's going to be, sidelined for the next 2 to 4 weeks. But my biggest question is he even injured? Is this just like his way to rest up so he can just not play? I don't know. There's a lot of speculation to go around, but there's so much things you can dive deep into when it comes to this. There's also some people that are plugged in with the Knicks saying that the Knicks are not interested and they're not really pursuing. They like the team that they got right now because that's the unique thing about this whole situation in my eyes. It's not like the Knicks are desperate right now. Like, they're playing good basketball. They're in the top of the Eastern Conference, the second seed. It's not like you look at the Knicks, you're like, wow, we are really trash, bro. Like, we need help. Like, no, the Knicks don't need help. They got dogs on this team. Cat, in my opinion, is still a very good basketball player. He's an all-star. He knows how to win basketball games next to JB, with Bridges playing great. Josh Hart, you guys know what the Knicks have been doing this season. But the big question is, are the Knicks willing to sacrifice and take a big swing at a superstar? Because it is extremely rare for a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo to be able to be available, number one, and to want the Knicks. I mean, when's the last time we had a guy like that say, I want to be a Knick? It's never been the case. I mean, Knicks fans remember the whole LeBron James situation 15 years ago with the whole decision. Like, some people were holding out hope LeBron would pick the Knicks. He didn't. Went to Miami, even though I never really thought that was going to happen. And then you rewind, 5 years by now? Kevin Durant, Kyrie, they want to come to the Knicks. No, they don't. They're going to the Brooklyn Nets. So now we have a guy in Giannis who is a two-time MVP, NBA champion, saying, I want to be a Knick. And like, as a Knicks fan, I'm like, dude, honestly, break it up. Everybody's tradable at this point besides Jalen Brunson. And that's no disrespect to the guys on our roster. I just so happen to be a really big Giannis fan. Ever since he won that championship the way that he did in Milwaukee, I think that he would literally bring the Knicks into legit championship contention, because the way this Knicks team is constructed right now, I have confidence of them competing in the Eastern Conference and going to the NBA Finals, but I don't know if I have confidence of them being able to beat up on the Oklahoma City Thunder or the top dogs of the West the way this team is constructed. Not saying it's impossible. Of course it is. I think Mike Brown is doing a heck of a job as the Knicks head coach, and they're only going to get better and better. And say even if the Knicks don't get Giannis, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think the way that this Knicks team is constructed is still to be able to go out there and contend for an NBA title. But in my opinion, Giannis will expedite it, and we would be legit contenders for the foreseeable future. And another thing you have to note here is Giannis he kind of has leverage in this situation because there's only 1 year left on his contract. He's contract extension eligible next year. So the Bucks are not going to trade him wherever they want. The Bucks are going to have to trade him where Giannis wants to go, because he does not want to go somewhere and then go to free agency. He wants to go somewhere that he can sign an extension with right away and be there for the next, the second half of his career, as he's turning 31 years old in a few days. So you guys sound off in the comments. Let me know where your head's at with the Giannis situation. I wanted to break it down here in the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And a big shout out to Sleeper for being the proud sponsor of Knicks Media all season long. If you guys did not check them out by now, I don't know what you're waiting for. You guys can click the link at the top of the chat. Use my code Knicks. Get 100% deposit matched up to $100. You guys can pick more or less on your favorite players across the NBA and build a big parlay. You win up to 100x your money, but please bet responsibly. As always, shout out to Sleeper. And don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comments about this whole situation with Giannis. Do you think it's going to happen or not? Sound off in the comments, folks. I'm out of here. Let's go Knicks. Peace out.